and we were, and we were, and we were, I need, and we were, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water.
They're coming all over the place.
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water.
They're coming all over the place. They're coming all over. They're coming all. They're coming all. They're coming all. They're coming all over. Coming all over. Coming all. Coming all. Coming all. Coming all over. Coming all over the place.
He's like this, and we were.
They're coming all over the place.
And he's like, we were, and we were, we were, I need water, help me, I need water.
They're coming all over, coming all over the place.
And he's like this.
They're coming all over, coming all over the place. Coming all over the place.
I eat extra sharp, that's what I eat.
But I think the juxtaposition of that and the woman dancing in the shoe, but I think the juxtaposition in the shoe, dancing in the shoe, with the money flying at her. The in the shoe, dancing in the shoe, woman dancing in the shoe of that, and the woman woman in the shoe with the money flying at her, with the money flying at her. To continue about whack, which stands talking about whack, which talking about whack, which stands for wet ass pussy, and for wet ass pussy, for wet ass pussy, and she's got the bucket, the bucket of that, and the woman dancing in the shoe, and then we say but the woman with the leaking pussy.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it, because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your. He comes in your. He comes in your. He comes in your grandmother. Comes in your grandmother. Comes in your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. They come in.
come in so easily, so crazy, so crazy.
Everybody digging my chili, what I'm laying down? That is not true.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
Oh, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Folks, you know what time it is? It's time for Above It, motherfucking all. That's right, folks. It's World Elephant Day, and I would like to read to you worldelephantday.org/about/elephants as I drink coffee from my elephant. Is there a crack in this? Is it a crack or is it just condensation? There's a lot of condensation on this. Alright, folks. World Elephant Day 2021. Why World Elephant Day? Because the world's elephants are in trouble and they need your help. Elephant numbers have dropped by 62% over the last decade. And they could be mostly extinct by the end of the next decade. An estimated 100 African elephants are killed each day by poachers seeking ivory, meat, and body parts, leaving only 400,000 remaining. An insatiable lust for ivory products in the Asian market makes the illegal ivory trade extremely profitable and has led to the slaughter of tens of thousands of African elephants. Between 2010 and 2014, the price of ivory in China tripled, driving illicit poaching through the roof. If the elephants are to survive, the demand for ivory must be stopped. As of 2011, the world is losing more elephants than the population can reproduce, threatening the future of African elephants across the continent. Bull elephants with big tusks are the main target, and their numbers have diminished to less than half of the females. Female African elephants have tusks and are also killed, which has a terrible effect on the stability of elephant societies, leaving an increasing number of orphaned baby elephants. There are still more African elephants being killed for ivory than are being born. Elephant populations continue to decline. Elephants cannot be manufactured. Once they're gone, they cannot be replaced. The Asian elephant, whose habitat ranges over 13 countries across Asia, is an endangered species with less than 40,000 remaining worldwide. Less than a tenth of the African elephant population. Wild Asian elephants suffer severe habitat loss in some of the most densely human-populated regions on the planet. Their traditional territories and migration routes have been fragmented by development, highways, and industrial monocrops such as palm oil and rubber tree plantations, which has destroyed millions of hectares of forest ecosystems. With no access to their natural habitat, elephants are forced into deadly confrontations with humans, where neither species wins. Asian elephants are also poached for their ivory tusks, meat, and body parts, while baby elephants are captured from the wild and sold into the tourism industry. Worldwide, Asian elephants are trained, traded, and used for entertainment in tourist parks and circuses, and also for illegal logging activities. These captive elephants are often mistreated, abused, and confined to substandard facilities without adequate veterinarian care. I have spent hours and hours watching elephants and come to understand what emotional creatures they are. It's not just a species facing extinction, it's massive individual suffering. Elephants and humans share a long history throughout our civilization. The expanse of the African habitat and the enormous size and aggressive posture of the African elephant has allowed it to resist captivity. The Asian elephant has lived alongside humans for over 4,000 years and is imbued with reverence, tradition, and spirituality across many cultures. In Thailand, the elephant is a national icon. It has a national holiday designated in its honor, and elephants can receive a royal title from the king. Yet, while elephants have lived alongside humans for so long, there is still much we don't know about them. With the largest brain of any land mammal, they are smart, sentient, social, and empathetic, qualities we strive for ourselves. We share so many characteristics with elephants that they may well be more like us than any other animal. Even the dog, folks. Look at that. Even the dog. But we are risking their future, and in the process damaging the integral habitat required for biodiversity throughout Asia and Africa. Elephants are a keystone species. It means they create and maintain the ecosystems in which they live and make it possible for a myriad of plant and animal species to live in those environments as well. The loss of elephants gravely affects many species that depend on elephant-maintained ecosystems and causes major habitat chaos and a weakening to the structure and diversity of nature itself. To lose the elephant is to lose an environmental caretaker and an animal from which we have much to learn. Folks, elephants are vegans. Just throwing that out there. Without elephants, there will be major habitat change, with negative effects on the many species that depend on the lost habitat. We can save elephants by implementing stronger protection policies for wild elephants at both local and international levels of government, stronger enforcement and legislative measures against the poaching and illegal trade of ivory, better management of natural elephant habitats, better education about the vital role of the elephant in ecosystems, more viable alternative economic opportunities for those whose livelihoods depend on elephants, improved treatment for captive elephants, and, where appropriate, reintroduction of captive elephants into protected sanctuaries that allow a national replenishing of endangered populations. These are just some of the goals that numerous elephant conservation organizations are focused on around the world to prevent the extinction of wild elephants and the destruction of their habitat, and to improve the quality of life for those elephants in captivity. Elephants are running out of space and time. Before we know it, they will be gone, unless we collectively stop the senseless poaching and consumer demand for ivory and allocate protected natural habitat in countries where elephants and other wildlife can thrive now and in the future. Because without elephants, just what kind of world would it be? Folks, elephants. I don't even know what else to say. World Elephant Day. We gotta get our shit together. Look at this adorable baby. I'm gonna cry, folks. I'm holding back tears right now. The YouTube elephant emoji is extremely good, yeah. Folks, elephants. Elephants, folks. Not sure if you want to cover it. Maybe. I just want to say this one more time, folks. Elephant. Alright, so folks, I am going to be skedaddling probably by 10:50. So just throwing that out there. What I am going to be doing is attending a demonstration. In town and interviewing some people, so I'll be leaving earlier than normal. By the way, I asked Dr. Heamed out, and he's up for a debate. You guys need to find a subject. Let's debate elephants. I'm down with that. Elephant. Elephant. Everyone loves elephants. Oh. Elephant, elephant. Everyone loves elephants. Elephant, elephant. Everyone loves elephants. All right, folks. Let's get the recap. Alrighty. Folks. Be nice, Catherine. All right. Folks, yesterday was the 113th day of protesting in the city of Elizabeth City, North Carolina. And I've got an elephant on screen. And so we did a demonstration. It was a little bit shorter because a lot of the folks that showed up were a little tired, and it was hot as an MF out there. And so we did a little bit of a shorter demonstration yesterday, but it was still a good demonstration nonetheless. And so we walked through half of downtown Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and we demanded justice for Andrew Brown Jr., someone who was murdered on April 21st, 2021 by the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. We have been out here protesting every single day without a single exception for 113 days straight in a row. I have attended every day of protests except for day 72, where I had another protest-related activity I needed to handle. But either way, I've been out there every single day. I can tell you that Elizabeth City is something special. This is a very, very, very special moment in history for, again, a small town of approximately 20,000 people. We have had, usually on average, about 10 people a day. Some days are a little bit closer to 5, but most of the time we've got around 10 people total. Some people drive along in cars and honk their horns with us and block some roads so that angry drivers don't try to hurt us, which has happened several times. We had an incident last week where the chief of police, Eddie Buffalo, witnessed a car hit a protester and speed off. A hit and run was witnessed by the chief of police, and he did nothing and then told us not to file a report. So that's a little bit disgusting. The police in Elizabeth City decided to abandon protesters. They have been retaliating against protesters. The Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department has been definitely retaliating against protesters, myself included. And so all of this over 113 days of non-violent, peaceful march demonstrations, right? Elizabeth City has showcased that you can protest for over 100 days in a row, and you can do it without breaking a window. You can do it without burning a police station down. Now, that being said, what have we accomplished? We have gotten the Sheriff's Department a raise. They got more money for killing Andrew Brown Jr. They got more money. The police, the local Elizabeth City police, have let cars slam into protesters, and they have also attacked protesters on numerous occasions, and they got extremely well-paid overtime. And the mayor of Elizabeth City declared a state of emergency that allowed for several thousand out-of-city cops to come in, get free paid overtime, and also abuse protesters. The mayor of Elizabeth City has also been trying to do some good PR after the fact, after she endangered her entire population, and all of the people that live in Elizabeth City were put into danger by outside agitating riot police. The mayor of Elizabeth City has been trying to go on a rehabilitation tour. Some people do not accept it, some people do. I have my own opinions on that. And but either way, we've been out here for 113 days in a row. And we're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. The people that you can see right now on screen are not going to stop. And we are going to be out here every day until the case is closed. There is currently a pending lawsuit against the sheriff deputies, Robert Morgan, Daniel Meads, Aaron Llewellyn, Michael Swindle, Kenneth Bishop, Joel Lunsford, and there's another one. It's a Stephen Judd. That is, I think, $30 million of a pending lawsuit against them over the murder of Andrew Brown Jr. I would like to remind people of the details of the case. A stray bullet from the shooters, Robert Morgan, Daniel Meads, and Aaron Llewellyn, were the shooters that fired their weapons. One of them fired a stray bullet into a neighbor's house that went through several walls and was eventually stopped by hitting a crock pot in the kitchen in the back of the house. So, but for the grace of God, if that person was home or was awake or was in a different room, they would have been killed by the police. I would like to remind everyone, I point out that the case of Breonna Taylor in Kentucky, none of the cops were charged for killing Breonna Taylor. However, the one cop who missed was charged. The cop who failed to execute Breonna Taylor was charged. He got punished for missing, for not placing a bullet in an innocent woman's head and killing her. He was punished. He was charged with wanton endangerment because a stray bullet went into a neighboring apartment. Well, that is not the case in Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County. The stray bullet that almost killed someone? Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. The district attorney, Andrew Womble, has an office inside the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department and is usually in there every single day, very chummy with the sheriff deputies who murdered Andrew Brown Jr. and the sheriff of Pasquotank County, Tommy Wooten. They are all buddies. And the county commission voted a month ago now, to give all of the sheriff deputies and the entire sheriff's department a, quote, cost of living increase. They got extra money for the assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. I would like to remind everyone that the shooting took place at 8:30 in the morning on a school day in a school zone. A school is located less than a block away from Andrew Brown's home where the shooting took place. And so these are details that the mainstream media has, for whatever reason, forgotten about, because the mainstream media does not care about protests. They do not care about police violence unless they can get a reactionary headline. Elizabeth City has showed that you can protest for 113 days in a row without breaking a single window, without throwing a single water bottle, without throwing a single brick, without hurting anyone or anything. And what have we gotten? Nothing. The sheriff's department has gotten a raise, and national media has begun to ignore the story. The last time national media even pretended to care was on day 100, now 2 weeks ago, and they came out and they ran a small story about it, and then they just went back in their daily business. The only local newspaper outlet, the Daily Advance, which is funded by an out-of-state billionaire newspaper mogul, has been printing story after story after story, calling the protesters rioters, declaring the protesters doing illegal activity, printing and releasing protesters' street addresses. And there is a political action committee that is funding this operation, known as the Pasquotank PAC. They also have a news outlet where they have been posting lies and libelous and slanderous material about several protest organizers, saying that they are responsible for burning down the streets of Elizabeth City, even though that has not happened. They are still printing lies. Protesters in Elizabeth City have been hit by cars on several occasions. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we had a hit and run a week ago where the chief of police saw it and did nothing and told us not to file a report. And when I asked him why he saw it and he didn't and did nothing, he responded to me by saying, "You can't tell me what I saw." Even though when the hit and run occurred, he was on the sidewalk and I looked at him and he looked at me and he saw the car speed off. So I just wanted to give everyone a recap of what's been going on here. And, you know, we're not going anywhere. So I'll be out here for another 114 days if I need to. I'll be out here till Christmas. I'll be out here till April 21st, 2022, if it needs to happen. And, so I just wanted to give a little bit more of a more detailed recap of what's going on in Elizabeth City. Because, again, no one else is doing it. So I feel an obligation. But, yeah, so every Thursday, the senior citizens of Elizabeth City have been doing a sit-in the lobby of the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. And I will be attending that sit-in today after the show. And I will be collecting some people's thoughts on what's going on. And so I'll report back on that tomorrow as well. But yeah, either way, yesterday was a solid demonstration. And I'm looking forward to the future. Reminder, folks, it's World Elephant Day. I would like to remind everyone that it is World Elephant Day. Sit-in is where? In the lobby of the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. Every day should be World Elephant Day. I agree. I love elephants. They are my friends. So folks, like I said, today's going to be a little bit of a shorter show because I am going to be going to the Sheriff's Department today and getting some stuff with the senior sit-in. And so I will probably be leaving pretty soon here. Let me see if I can do like one more story. Well, I saw this on Google News. California man allegedly confesses to killing his children. Refers to QAnon and Illuminati conspiracy theories. Oh, Lord? A California man confessed to killing his 2 young children, allegedly telling an FBI investigator he thought they were, quote, going to grow into monsters, so he had to kill them, according to a criminal complaint filed Wednesday. Matthew Taylor Coleman, a 14-year-old Santa Barbara surfing school instructor, has been charged with foreign murder of U.S. nationals after allegedly taking his 2-year-old son and 10-month-old daughter into Mexico and killing them, according to an affidavit filed as part of a federal criminal complaint and statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California. Stopped for questioning at the U.S.-Mexico border, Coleman allegedly told investigators he shot the children with a spear fishing gun, then hid their bodies, the affidavit said. Coleman spoke to authorities about being enlightened by QAnon and Illuminati conspiracy theories, including that he had visions that his wife possessed serpent DNA and had passed it on to his children, according to the affidavit. Coleman was detained at the border and transported to a local jail by authorities. CNN is working to determine whether Coleman had legal representation. He was scheduled for an initial court appearance on Wednesday. All right. Is there anything more about QAnon? He told authorities he believed his children were going to grow into monsters, so he had to kill them. Speaking about QAnon conspiracy theories and the belief that his wife passed along serpent DNA. All right, we already know that. Coleman said of the killings that he knew it was wrong, but it was the only course of action that would save the world. QAnon is a far-right conspiracy theory that promotes the absurd and false claim that the President Donald Orange Man Trump has been locked in a battle against a shadowy cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles made up of prominent Democratic politicians and liberal celebrities. The FBI has previously warned of potential danger posed by followers of the conspiracy theory movement. The Illuminati is a conspiracy theory that a secret society controls the world, while serpent DNA is a possible reference to a long-running theory that the world is secretly run by a cabal of reptilian humanoids. So, this is pretty interesting. I wish they would release more info about the QAnon stuff and what he was saying, but serpent DNA, folks. Lord have mercy. Scrolling through the news, folks. The Galaxy Watch, folks. Holy shit. Whoa. Guinea has commented on videos. I assume they're just unable to watch in the mornings for whatever reason. But they've been commenting on videos. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, folks. Folks. Do you know what time it is? Officer down. That's right, folks. Indianapolis police officer shot, wounded on city's northeastern side, reports. Let's read. This is from Fox News, folks. Officer down. Officer down. I repeat, officer down. An Indianapolis police officer was hospitalized in stable condition Wednesday night after being shot on the city's northeastern side, according to reports. The police officer was not immediately identified, and there was no word from police on whether any suspects have been taken into custody. Police have been called to the scenes shortly before 9 p.m. on a report of domestic disturbance. Fox 59 of Indianapolis reported when they arrived, the suspect fired at them, striking one of the officers in a leg, according to the station. Police later found 3 people suffering from gunshot wounds, with a girl and woman both hospitalized in critical condition. The third wounded person was believed to be the gunman, who later died at the hospital. Police believe the gunman's wounds were self-inflicted, Fox 59 reports. So as we can see, we can take a look at the scene where the officer is down. So we can see there's a Walgreens. And the officer is down. It's a lot of cops. So, now I just want to say, as per usual, no police officers fired any shots during the incident. I don't believe anything that comes out of any of these situations unless there's body camera footage. There is no way in hell that I would ever listen to anything a cop says in any capacity ever and at all. I will never listen to what a cop says. I will only listen to body camera footage. So unless there's body camera footage, the best assumption I can make is that the cops came in and shot the 3 people, one of them died, and then the cop got shot in retaliation. That's the best thing I can think of without the body camera footage that shows that the force was justified in this instance. We all know that police are well known to lie about everything all the time. I would like to cite the recent scandal of the San Diego Sheriff's Department making a completely fake video about exposure to fentanyl. That went viral. Maybe I'll cover that, the debunking, tomorrow. But I would like to talk about that. They lied. The person pretended to have an overdose. They were not in any danger whatsoever. The whole thing was made up. I would also like to remind folks of the George Floyd murder. The original police report said that George Floyd died of an overdose in an incident and police were involved but didn't inflict any harm. Now we know from extraneous reports in the cell phone video that is not the truth. George Floyd was murdered by a police officer. So I'd like to remind everyone that cops always lie. They lie all the time. It is in their job description to lie. So also, 80% of cops voted for Donald Trump. 40% of cops are domestic abusers. These are verified statistics, okay? So with that being said, I do not believe for a second that the situation as described is what actually happened. I think it is way more likely that the cop went in, shot all 3 of them, and then killed one, and then shot himself so that it would look like, whatever. Then he can get away with it. That, to me, is far more likely. And if you want to convince me that that's not the truth, release the body camera footage. That simple. Oh, there is no body camera footage. Well, okay, then I don't care what you have to say. Cops' accounts are not truthful in any capacity. So, officer down, folks. I hope he has a rough recovery. Matt says, Matt, can you just tell the story on stream next time you're on? Like, make a note. I had a cop friend I used to smoke weed with, asked him why he was a cop once. He said, good question, and quit a week later. Can you, like, earmark that for a story next time you're on? I would love to make that a segment of you telling that story. I saw a pic of fentanyl on Google Images and I overdosed. So I just want to say there's like a lot of people that criticize my Officer Down segments that say I'm too mean to cops. But I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'm mean enough to cops. I don't view police as human beings. I'm very upfront about that. Now, when they take the uniform off and they go home, all right, they're a human. But when you're on the job, when you've got the uniform on, when you've got a gun strapped to your fucking waist, you are not a human being. You are a drone. You are a robot and an agent of evil. And I will not change my opinion on that. Now, I also think most cops, when they do take the uniform off and go home, are still probably garbage. But that being said, when they are on duty, they are not human beings. Plain and simple. And you cannot convince me otherwise. I'm sorry, but I've had too many experiences. I am Sudan. $5 super chat. How are you going to say that to a cop when you just timed me out? I'm going to say it because those two are not mutually exclusive. In fact, I'm going to time you out again. Thanks for the super chat. Damn, you just got owned. I'm sorry. But yeah, you posted something ridiculous. I am Sudan. So I'm sorry, but you posted something absolutely ludicrous, and I thought it was disgusting, and I didn't want anyone else to look at it, so I deleted it. I have no problem. Like, I'm not banning you. Thank you for the money. I appreciate that. But that has nothing to do with cops. Like, you saying that someone should go out there and murder people, like, or I guess it's not murder because they're police officers. But, like, again, it's a stupid comment. It doesn't solve anything. I mean, it's a little ludicrous. And I think you were downplaying the situation at hand. So, but you know, I'm just being honest. You know, when you say offensive stuff, I'm not gonna hesitate to delete your messages. Because it's also like a factor of like, I don't want your message to be in the record. Like, if someone watches the video archive, I don't want that message to show up. I don't want that to be, and like, claiming that the situation was not that bad because, like, people aren't going off on a killing spree in response. I mean, it's ludicrous and it's silly. And I know that you're a kid. I understand that you're, like, 16 or whatever the fuck. And that you, like, you know, play Call of Duty or Counter-Strike and think the real world works like that, but it's not. And so, we can have very serious rhetoric, but to claim that you have to go out on a killing spree in order for a murder of your family member to be a bad thing, I mean, it's just ludicrous. So, just saying. I think things are worse under Biden so far, but I don't necessarily attribute that to Biden. I think things would be worse than they are now if Trump won the election. But I also think things are worse now than they were on January 19th. I haven't been a TYT hater, but what's going on with the pro-cop campaign across networks? There's a pro-cop campaign? Can you send me info on Twitter or something? Let me look at the Young Turks. They're doing propaganda now? Is that possible? Okay, so the most recent cop video I see is the exposure of the San Diego sheriff video, which is good. They covered the Cory Booker Tuberville exchange. I'd have to watch the video to see what take they took away. I'd really like to know if people think how you worded it. Okay. That I want to be very clear. Like, I think things would be worse if Trump were president, but I also think that America is in a significantly horrible downward trajectory, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and Biden is not alleviating that at all. But he's also not actively making things worse. You know, so it's like it's a nuanced take. I am not seeing too much propaganda just by scanning the Young Turks video feeds, but I'm also not going to watch any videos, so. But if you want to send me examples, feel free. I think electronic voting, is a little silly. I'd rather have paper. Two reports and one report on the same show, and then there was like that report about the cop that got killed. I don't look. Send me some examples. Honestly, I blame Obama. He was not a strong enough pres and opened the door for Trump, and then he rallied the party behind Biden without bringing. Oh yeah, we're fucked. All right, folks, I gotta get the hell out of here. Because I'm going somewhere. So thank you for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll do a little bit of a longer show tomorrow, of course. But I will see y'all later. You have a good one. And that's it. That's the show. Reminder, folks, it is World Elephant Day. You have a great day.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat. I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat. I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me.
They're coming all over the place.
And he's like, and we were,
They're coming all over the place. Coming all over the place.
And he's like this. We
They're coming all over the place. Coming all over the place.
And he's like this.
They're coming all over. They're coming all over the place.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Get your words straight, Jack.
Unbelievable.